pull up anymore, but I can hang from a bar without feeling that like ripping in my shoulder. I wasn't even able to plank without feeling like ripping in my shoulder. I can do plank, I can do push-ups now, and I haven't been able to do a push-up. But within 3 days, I could tell, not for like a workout, but my inflammation went down.
But I've had almost zero knee pain. And so that was pretty mind-blowing to me. Again, it's only been about a month.
To me, this feels like the fountain of youth, right? That they've now bottled. I was at hot yoga and my friend and I were standing there and she goes, "Oh, your abs are back." And I'm like, "Oh man, they are." That was quick. It was only been a week.
My kids can look at me, pictures from my 40s. Dad looks like a freaking super.
Okay.
So, Shari, Jenn, hope the audio is picking this up. I'm going to make it a little bit higher. I think we've been planning this conversation, probably feels like for months now.
For months. I feel like you're right.
And we finally got the time to sit down and actually do this. But I want to lead off the conversation just asking you, Shari, because you brought Jenn and myself into the Ellie MD world. And for anyone who is tuning in, has no clue what we're talking about, could you start out by sharing a little bit about just Ellie MD and what it is, very high level, just so we can kind of frame the conversation?
Yeah. So high level would be Ellie MD is it's a national company now that has. I actually learned about it from a friend that I had already been working with, and she kind of jumped in and brought me into the mix. But basically, it's longevity. It's a longevity company. So they have peptides, they have GLPs, and I initially loved it because I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about the GLPs that were this opportunity to work with a pharmacy that had sorry.
No.
What's the word I'm looking for? They are
like FDA.
Yeah, they are FDA approved. So this pharmacy, this FDA approved in all 50 states for peptides, for any of the GLPs. So that was the initial thing that just kind of interested me was just, first of all, that they're FDA approved. It's in all of their, 50 states and all these pharmacies. They're third party tested. That is a big deal because a lot of people are just, going to different places and purchasing their peptides or their GLPs, and there's no guarantee. You don't know what you're getting from a lot of these places, even if you go to a local med spa. And so when I learned about that, I just thought, wow, this is a real deal. This is truly, been tested, tried and true. And I really wanted to jump on board.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the space, I feel like peptides in general is blowing up. I still think it's very early on in its stage, but I can tell you all I see on my news feed now in terms of ads are peptides, and a lot of them are like research grade peptides. But when we were having this discussion now, I've been like researching for feels like the better part of a year now. What was great that I saw about the Ellie MD platform is that it's a telemedicine platform first, right? And so you can go on and you can see what the different peptides do, and you can select the ones that you want to use. But before you can go and just like purchase a peptide, you're actually having to fill out like a medical questionnaire. Right. You're going to have a discussion with the provider, and that is actually being prescribed to you, the specific dosage and whatever you're getting from that provider. It's going to the compounding pharmacy, small additives, so that it's no longer research grade, and it's actually 99.9% pure. So like I said, what you're getting when you actually order that. And it's not just, maybe it's 50%, maybe it's, it's because I think so many of the research grade peptides that you see, they're coming from China, they're not pure. And you don't know whether it's 20%, 50%. So you just don't know.
And that truly was my point, right? It's just that, when you do the research and you see who they really are, what is this company actually brought to the table, that the research that they've already done, the quality in which they deliver is unmatched. So, yeah. And so then your next part of the question was like, why did I think of you two? And specifically because, for me, I initially was interested for the GLPs. But I knew for you guys, you're both very much in the gym all the time. You are, working out. And I thought, for the peptides, that's that really would be really well in line. And not that I don't love the peptides too, because I've done several of them myself, but yeah, speak to that, TJ or Jen, as to, what you guys think about the peptides.
For myself, I started doing research on peptides for, probably 2 years ago, when I found out I had a slap tear. And there's no one in Virginia, obviously, that was doing it. No one could prescribe it. Ortho was not into that whole realm, I should say, of
How did you tear your rotator cuff?
that's it. Repetitive movements. So it was 5 years of CrossFit, doing cleans, stretches, hanging from the bar, and just one day I just felt
This
it.
is the straw that broke the camel's
Yeah.
back sort of thing.
Yeah.
Slap
Wow,
tear, you
slap
had the imaging done.
Yep. And then started doing some research. I was listening to a podcast with another holistic doctor that's out in Tennessee. And he was talking about another doctor who's in Texas that actually does peptides. And he did it on himself. He had a slap tear. Actually had a rotator cuff tear. Not a full tear. It was partial tear. And he started taking peptides. He had an MRI a year later and was healed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you?
So that
And
started the wheels
just
turning.
just for reference, is that normal? I mean, do slap tears
No.
heal on their own?
No, nope, they don't. Surgery, usually surgery. And I was told I was too young to have surgery. I would regret it right now if I hadn't done.
And so you went to the ortho, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, you had the imaging done. And what was the recommended course of action?
Physical therapy. We had some dry needling done, and pretty much rest and.
But I mean, none of that is really curative in nature. If we know that the tear is not, like the tissue itself isn't going to fully heal or repair, like the permanent solution, I suppose, would have been surgery, but you were not really a candidate for surgery. So you're kind of stuck in this middle point where it's like, well, okay, you can just wait and make it functionally better, but not healed. Or I guess you could have the surgery, but then 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, things are going to be.
So what I want to know now is how long have you been on it and how do you feel? What's been the?
It's been 3 weeks, I think, since I've started it.
Well, walk me back. I mean, before even, I think we can discuss like what specific peptides you're taking, but also we know what the event was, but then what was like the decision-making process you went through to say, you know what, I'm going to try these peptides specifically, and then we can go into like your results.
So doing my research with the podcast of the holistic doctor, I do
Yeah.
a lot of holistic research. And BCP-157 was one of the top peptides that came up in saying for tissue repair, muscle repair, for anything that's not completely torn, obviously, because you can't repair it completely torn.
Right, it was
muscles.
like detached from
detached.
the
Yeah, you can't do that. But with a partial tear, such as my slap tear, that I was able to do that research, find out that it could actually heal those tendons and the muscles, and kind of using the amino acids and
Right.
make
Yeah.
it functional and better than what I was doing before.
Right, because I mean, people hear peptides and they're like, well, what does that even mean? I mean, peptides are just that naturally manufactured in your gut,
Right.
right? So they're compounds that are manufactured there. And the BPC-157, body protection compound 157, is something that naturally occurs in your body. And the mechanism of action, really, it promotes angiogenesis, which is like increased blood flow to particular areas, right? So we think about that, where like oftentimes, especially as we get older, like there's certain tendons, parts of our muscle that are not highly vascularized, meaning they don't have a lot of blood flow to it, which makes it difficult to heal. And so that particular peptide promotes angiogenesis over time, but it also is an anti-inflammatory too.
Yep.
So, right, so it brings down the inflammation
That's
and
perfect.
increases the amount of blood flow to a particular area, so that, like, for your tendons, for example, it could potentially, I'm not saying it will, right, but
Right.
it could potentially improve the healing and actually promote tissue growth.
So when that came down, like I said, I did my research. No one around here did it, so I kind of just dealt with it. Kind of came off of CrossFit or did light works at CrossFit, and then now I'm in a regular gym. And then Shari popped up one day. Just ran.
As
She's like,
she so
I'm
often
taking,
does, right?
yeah, I'm taking GLP-1. I'm like, oh, what company? And she's like, oh, they sell other peptides. I was like, what? And then here we are. Yeah. Here we
So-
are.
And so, are you on the BPC-157 TB-500
Yes.
stack?
Yep. I'm on that
Okay.
stack.
And so, I know we started like almost on the same day,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to think how long it's been now. I think it was back in November, right?
Yeah.
Like toward the end of November.
I think you're right.
I think we've been on for, it's been like,
Are you on the same thing,
Yep.
TJ?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm still on my first bottle. So
Yeah, so am I. So it
So it
has to be like just under a month,
yeah.
maybe.
yeah, just under a month.
So subjectively, like, what have you noticed so far?
Definitely inflammation's down for my body. I can definitely tell, like in my face, everywhere. My shoulder, I have not been able to hang from a bar and do a pull up in I don't know how long I can hang from a bar. I can't do a pull up anymore, but I can hang from a bar without feeling that like ripping in my shoulder. Even planking, I wasn't even able to plank without feeling like ripping in my shoulder. I can do plank, I can do push-ups now, and I haven't been able to do a push-up in that God knows I don't know how long. So
Wow.
definitely as time is going on, I can see my movements are better in the gym and there's no pain. Like, I feel pain at night. Like I had numbness in my arm at one point in time. It would wake me up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Now I don't have any of that.
And just for context, now is this? I mean, I know the answer is I'm doing the same thing. Is this an injection? Is this a pill? Like what? Like how are you taking these peptides?
So I decided to go with the injection
Yeah.
because of the fast absorption rate, and they said it's faster healing, obviously.
I think the
It's like
bioavailability
yeah.
of the medication
Yeah.
too, right? So it's like it's a sub-Q injection, subcutaneous injection. It goes right into like an area of fat, typically right around your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't hurt that much. There's certain areas that I've noticed are a little bit more tender than others.
Yeah, and I feel it a little bit later, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yep, that's where my shot was at. But otherwise, it's nothing. It's
Yeah.
a little pinch. I guess you used to tell patients it's just a little pinch. Yeah.
All right, and so 5 days on, 2 days off.
Yep. 5 days on, 2 days off. I do Monday through Friday. But
That's what I'm doing as well. I ended up on that schedule. It just made more sense.
I also tried the doing in the morning, and then trying it at night, to see if there was a difference. Personally, I did not find a difference. So I did the whole week of doing it every morning, before I went to work out. And then a week, the following week, I did it every night before I went to bed. And personally, no difference to me. So
Yeah, I haven't really noticed a difference either. And how long did it take you to start noticing even like mild subjective results once you started utilizing them?
3 days.
3 days.
Yeah, 3
Okay.
days.
Wow.
And I thought it was just something in my head. Obviously, we're all like, no
Yeah,
way.
there's no way.
There's no way. But within 3 days, I could tell, not for like a workout, but my inflammation was down. Like
How did you know? Like what were the things you were experiencing? Like give me some color to that. Like, oh, my inflammation is down. What did you
so
feel?
in my face, I can feel inflammation in my face. I can see when I'm puffy and when I'm not. I use that, what do they call them? Fascia things. So I use them on my face and I can see like the colors coming back in my face
Yeah.
faster. Before it would like take several scrapes, and now it's just like 2 scrapes, my color's back. So my inflammation's definitely down. My arms, like my clothes, how I wear my shirts when I go work out, they're not as tight, which is really weird to me. And then my calves and my kinkles, like my swelling that is all of a sudden like done, and like it's not there anymore like it
Yeah.
used to be.
That's
So which
amazing.
is again weird to me, because I've never had that. Even during CrossFit, like I would swell and do whatever,
Yeah.
because you're constantly putting your body in that stress mode, mode when you're working out. It's not there anymore.
Right. I think we're both a little skeptical by nature.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, I feel this. And for me, it was pretty similar. Within a couple of days, part of the reason why I started utilizing it, I was looking for advantages to recover and heal in the gym. But my knee, I had ACL surgery back in 2006. And they told me at the time, oh, yeah, I mean, by the time you're at like 40, you might need a knee replacement. But I'm getting close to 40 now. I'm 38. And I started noticing, particularly after playing men's league soccer, it's like, oh, man, every time after I played, it would be like 2-3 days to recover. My knee would just blow up. And since starting to take BPC-157 and the TB-500 stack, I've had almost zero knee pain, almost zero.
Yeah.
And like if I do like really aggressive movements, more dynamic things, I can feel like little tinges or twinges of discomfort,
Right.
but I've had almost zero knee pain. And so that was pretty mind blowing to me. Again, it's only been about a month. And so I think some of it was just like getting the inflammation down. I've noticed that as well.
Yeah.
But just recovering faster, you're feeling generally good in the gym. So that's been really positive so far. I'm just hoping that will continue for some time.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And you'll notice when you do your high rocks.
Yeah, I got that coming up too. But
Do you know on high rocks? It is I would say the new
like the new fitness
the
craze.
new fitness crave. It's CrossFit, running, and I mean everything. It's like a triathlon. Like
Yeah, it's kind of like the lungs of a triathlon. So it's like it's got these different things that you have to do. It's a race.
Yeah.
It's an exercise race. That's the easiest way to describe
Yeah.
it. And so start out with, I think it's like a 1,000-meter run. Then you've got to do 1,000-meter skier. Then you go and run again. And then you do 1,000 meters on the rower. And this is like 8 different things that you go through.
Are you both planning to do it?
Oh, not me.
Oh, I asked Jen if she wanted to do it when I signed up. She's like, oh, that's too much.
No,
to do
no.
that.
No,
No, no,
but
not
you
there
are
yet.
teaching.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. So it's
That's
early
amazing.
March.
He's much
Yeah.
younger. He can still do it.
Yeah.
My younger
Yeah.
years.
No.
But Shari, I'm curious for you because I know you started out your exposure to peptides was GLPs, which I
Yeah.
think is much more mainstream right now compared to a lot of the other peptides, like some of the things we were talking about. And there's some other ones that we started trialing as well, which we can get into. But when was your initial exposure to GLPs? And I guess walk me through like
Yeah.
why you started like what you were hoping to achieve by using them, and then kind of where you are now. Like what are the things that you're using?
Yeah. So my initial interest was really, I really wanted to just lose some weight. But what I would tell you is that I was scared to death of GLPs, right? Because when I first heard about it back in the day, a few years
Yeah.
ago or whatever, it was super controversial. I mean, like there was just nothing that was coming out that was saying, oh, this is, I mean, good for you, or this could help with this, or could help with that. Everything was pretty,
Why do you think there was so much controversy around it? Because like I've done so much research on GLPs and like now understanding like the physiology of it, but why do you think that it was like, ooh, it was like maybe there was stigma or controversy?
Well, yeah, I think the controversy perhaps because maybe it was new. They didn't have a lot of research out on it at that
Yeah.
time, perhaps. Also, people think, oh, that's such a crutch. That's a crutch for you and for, anybody using it. There was just felt like a very negative, vibe around it. And then also I could couple that with the fact that I wanted to use it, but I was a little bit afraid to use it because of that information.
Yeah.
And so I started it, but I wasn't very consistent in it because I'm like, oh, should I be doing this? Yes, no, until I met a physician in Texas, and he began to just unveil all of the beautiful things around
Yeah.
using a peptide. And that was the first time I was like, wow, I really need to know more about this, because now I'm hearing something completely different and something that people are not talking about at all.
Right.
And so that's what led me to kind of go a little bit deeper and dive in a little bit more. And then I was working with somebody that she had been doing peptides. She's in the medical field, been doing peptides for years, way before it was a thing, popular. And I connected with her, and then she moved over to Ellie MD. And I was just like, that is a no-brainer for me. I need to go with her. This is an upcoming opportunity for any of us that are interested in longevity and health as we age.
Because she was
So-
prescribing peptides from her practice, but couldn't operate in all states.
Right. She had 22 states that she could prescribe in. But then when this got presented to her, it was presented in a way that you could prescribe in all 50 states,
Yeah.
right? So every single state has a physician, and just like you said, you're run through, just the same questions and same type of thing that you would if you walked into your general practitioner.
Yeah.
So-
'Cause, I mean, I think people are becoming more familiar with telemedicine, and it's like, great. So now we've got telemedicine attached to a way to deliver safe
Right.
peptides,
Right,
not
yeah.
just research grade, but actually compound pharmacy, FDA approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And so from there, I went into the GLPs. I've done that, still doing that.
Are you on
You
the
can do the
GLP
microdose
ones or twos?
twos. Yep. I never even went to the one simply because by that time I knew that the GLP-2 would offer me probably more benefit because it works in a couple of different ways. And I definitely needed that.
I think so. Like for context, GLP ones people associate with like Ozempic, right?
Right.
The original GLP, right? And the GLP-2, it's a GLP-1 plus a GIP, right? Together,
Right.
which people it's typically tirzepatide, right? And so what's like the brand name for
Manjaro?
Mounjaro?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just so, because I think if people are watching this, like, oh, Ozempic, Mounjaro. Ah, got it.
Yeah,
GLP-1,
yeah.
GLP-2.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then from there, I thought, just as I'm aging, perhaps going on NAD, and then that was a beautiful way to kind of couple those things. Again, I'm thinking longevity. I'm thinking mental clarity, more focus, just more energy, just everything that I felt like I needed as I aged was now I could get through a peptide.
Yeah.
So I've been on that, and then I've recently started just for again the more of the aging is the GHK-CU. So I'm just dipping my toe into all of this beautiful opportunity for longevity, and they all couple well together.
Yeah.
What I think is important to know is that this is not just a thing you take and don't do anything else
Right,
in your
right.
life.
Or a grab and go, like I just grab.
Right. And so there's a rationale behind why, like each of us, and you, Shari, are taking certain peptides, but also you're very active.
Yes.
Right. In
Very.
your life. So
Yeah.
between the pickleball and the other things that
Yeah.
you're doing, I think maybe some of the negative things that have come out with like GLPs, for example, is that people take GLPs as like a magic pill, even though it's not a pill, it's an
Right.
injection, and don't make any other changes to their lifestyle. And then if they come off it, they rebound, which, I mean, what happens with anything that
Right.
you do, if you're on
Yeah.
a strict diet, if you're doing whatever. And so the important thing is that it's coupled with active lifestyle changes. So it's an aid to that.
Right.
Right. And so especially with the GLPs, because what I think is important to talk about too is like either side effects or maybe unintended consequences. And for people that don't make changes in their lifestyle, they take the GLPs, they lose a lot of weight, but oftentimes it's muscle.
Yes.
And especially for women, and I say women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, up to there's hormonal changes, they tend to lose muscle mass faster than men do already.
Right.
And so this is super important because as we age, one of the greatest predictors of like health and longevity is actually like muscle mass,
Right.
particularly in your quads and your glutes and even your grip strength, even though like grip strength doesn't directly correlate, but you have to do something active to actually develop grip strength.
Right.
And so if you're not coupling what you're doing to lose weight with some sort of strength training, with some sort of activity, pickleball, whatever it is to keep you active, it can be detrimental because of the muscle mass loss.
Right.
So there's these things to consider.
Right. But I think that, but that is part of the conversation, right? Keeping up your protein, making sure you're hitting the gym, you're getting the exercise. It's not just a magic, wash. It's not a magic pill where you just go, here you go. You do have to couple that with a lifestyle change as well. And I think that provides you an opportunity to think deeper, to wonder, what do I want for my life, longevity wise.
And like you said, what you couple with the NAD and the other stuff, it gives you more energy to want to go to the
Yes.
gym and go do
Yeah.
things. And
Because as a disclaimer, I'm almost 64 in just a couple of months. I
There's
want
no way.
to.
I don't believe that for a second.
To continue, to me, this feels like the fountain of youth, right? That they've now bottled and figuring out what does that look like? What are the opportunities here, and how do I keep just this opportunity to, age well going?
active 55 plus.
There you go. Yeah.
No, that's great. And so coming back to you, Jenn, we both again, right around the same time.
Mhm.
You know, we started with the BPC-157 and TB-500, and then more recently added 2 other peptides that I think people are starting to see out there a bit more as well. What did you add to your regimen?
So what is it? How does it
Tesmarelin,
smell? And what the other one?
ipamorelin.
Apamorelin. Yeah.
I'm not even
So-
sure if I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah, I'm not-
Ipamorelin, ipamorelin.
ipamorelin, yeah.
I've heard it both ways.
Yeah. So it's another combination. And it's to build muscle and to also like lose visceral fat. And also another inflammation type peptide. For me, I didn't want to get on the GLP-2 because I felt like my BMI was fine and I just needed a little boost in something because I'm going to turn 43. So my body's changing. So I needed the visceral fat. Like I knew like that was my target thing that I needed to lose. So I started that. And I've noticed within a week already there's a physical change in my body after taking that, which is again impossible to me. But
Like you're looking in the mirror.
I'm looking in the mirror. Like I was at hot yoga and my friend and I were standing there and she goes, "Oh, your abs are back." And I'm like, "Oh man, they are." That was quick. It was only been a week.
That's
So,
amazing.
You know, with working out, obviously, consistency and working out, diet changes, obviously too. I've also noticed I don't crave sweets anymore, which is kind of weird. So I don't know if that's coming from that as well, which is another thing that GLPs do. You know, they stop the cravings of sweets and alcohol and things that are cause you to gain weight and processed sugars, stuff like that. So
yeah.
But I mean, so far so good. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't.
Did you start the same thing?
Same exact
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
And
She's just a little bit more leaner already. So
I wasn't exactly sure what I was looking for. Part of it was experimentation. And so you look at like Sermorelin, I think that's like the naturally occurring peptide within your gut. The Tesmarelin, ipamorelin, not naturally occurring. However,
yes, it is a synthetic.
It's not natural. It's a synthetic. But as I was looking into it, and something that it's not like you're injecting HGH, human growth hormone, into your body. What it does is it promotes the natural production or increased production of HGH. And so human growth hormone, obviously for muscle building, is huge, but then also getting rid of some of the visceral fat. Like I've been on a health coaching program since February of last year, and so I've I guess the progress that I went through, I started basically cleaning up my diet, and then I had a pretty strict workout protocol. Had my labs done, and working with functional medicine practitioner. I'm like, okay, like you're within normal limits here in your lab ranges, but they're nowhere near optimal.
Right.
And so I was looking at things like, my free testosterone, DHEA, and food sensitivities. And so we removed some of the food triggers, as well as started to add some supplementation, oral supplementation for vitamins, minerals, and things like that. And so I started to see some improvements there. Had labs done again. There was lots of improvement. Testosterone went up. Definitely I was noticing it from how I was feeling. And then, come full circle to November is when I started with the BPC-157. And then now adding in the Tesmarelin, ipamorelin, it's more so like, what am I capable of? What can I do? What am I capable of, right? Like, can I get my body fat down even further, but also knowing like I'm training for things? Can this aid in, adding strength and my recovery in the gym? And so, there's aspects of it too. And I look at it like, am I vain for wanting to look, a certain way? And maybe yes, maybe no, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to look in the mirror and be like, damn.
Yeah, exactly. I worked hard and I
yeah.
got that.
Yeah, exactly.
My kids can look at me, my pictures from my 40s, like, man, my dad looks like a freaking superhero.
Yeah.
Like, these are the things that I think of. And like, I'm already putting in the work in the gym. It's not like I'm taking these peptides and sitting back and saying, all right,
go do your
magic.
do your thing. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You still have to challenge your body.
Yeah.
You're already doing it. Let's see if I can optimize even further.
So what about the newest thing that's out, the methylene blue?
I don't know much about it.
I don't either.
I've been seeing it promoted. It's super interesting. I only have done a little bit of research on it, and I was more so around, contraindications to using it.
Mm-hmm.
But Tell me about your curiosity with it.
I'm just curious because it seems to cover just an array of just different things, and from cognitive to energy to just kind of pushing back some of the things that are an onslaught as we age. I'm just curious. I'm ready to jump all in, but I wanted to know what you guys thought.
I honestly, I haven't done much research in it, and it wasn't something that I was looking to do. But I've been hearing a lot more about it, so there's a possibility.
Yeah.
It happens.
For me, it's like I got to do one experimentation
At a time.
Yeah,
because
I
I want to
Or
be
so
able to
much.
equate certain effects to what I'm doing. If I just like throw everything all
Yeah.
at once, it's like, well, what worked, what didn't?
did it-
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. Exactly.
change. Yeah.
But that's the beautiful thing about Ellie MD, right? When you open up the website and you begin to look, it's got longevity, sexual health, just the
Skin health,
peptide,
too.
skin health. Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot that. I'm actually on, besides the GHKCU.
Yeah.
I'm also on their skin regiment.
Okay.
How do you
just
like
got
that?
this
Because I
thing.
looked at that actually.
Yeah,
not for
me
I
too.
wanted to
myself.
couple the two together, right?
Yeah.
Because for elasticity, for just overall skin health. But it's been, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks, and so far so good. I mean,
Some
so-
people like talk about adverse reactions to it.
The
I mean,
skin peeling and stuff, which
So,
I think that could be.
I've
natural.
had a little bit of skin peeling,
Yeah.
but it's supposed to take care of some of the dark spots, which I actually do have, and so I've noticed a little bit of peeling around those. So let's revisit this in a couple of months. Can we turn back the clock?
I did ask some questions about that whole for people who have certain like spots on their face. So we're working on getting all that research back. So yeah, definitely need to come back. And
Yeah,
talk
we'll
about
come
that
back
later.
Yeah, see, because it just you use it once a day, just a little tiny pea size that goes on your face, and I've been very consistent. So we'll see.
Speaking of adverse reactions, were there any concern, or what were the concerns that either of you had in terms of adverse reaction side effects with any of the peptides that we're using, if any?
I know for me, water retention. That was a big thing. I had to be careful.
Which
With the
Tesmarelin.
Tesmarelin, yeah. So that was water retention. I was worried about that, and I did notice I had cotton mouth, which is really weird.
Yeah.
And that I wasn't drinking as much water, so that I could see where the water retention was coming from. So you really have to be on top of drinking your water and doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Definitely need to get better about my
Wow,
hydration.
yeah.
Normally, I'm like pretty particular about it, but I feel like over the past couple of weeks, like holiday season, I've not been great about it.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
There's
same.
too many other alternatives.
Yes.
Like try this or have that.
Yeah.
So
So-
getting back to the norm.
And not being in my normal like routine for work and stuff. So I've noticed I haven't been doing, having my jug of water by my side at all times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is something that I was worried about. I see it, and that I'm conscious of it. Like I need to do it. So
One of the things that people ask me a lot is cost. So let's talk about that for a minute, because I think that there's been a lot of research kind of gone into that of I can get it over here for this amount, but you guys charge this amount. So let's kind of level the playing field as related to the cost and why. I wouldn't say that it's any more. I've done a little bit of research, and it's actually could be a little bit less than some of the other places. But let's talk about why it's important to get, whatever you're doing through an FDA-approved pharmacy.
Like compounding pharmacy.
Yes.
I mean, you mentioned the cost. I looked at the cost, and it's pretty much what I expected. I didn't shop around, but I thought it was pretty reasonable for what it was. More than that in just supplements for the month. So for me, it was not like I didn't look at it and say, "Oh my goodness, like I can't do that." All right, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know that everyone would look at it through the same lens that I do.
Same.
I think
would
some
agree.
people might look and say, "Ooh, that feels a little bit steep." I mean, have you had those conversations?
I have had those conversations. And then the other piece that we do at Ellie MD is that we sell typically whatever it is, it comes in a 3-month supply. And some people don't want to do that, but they do that simply because longevity, right? I mean, you're going to do this for a reason. It's not just for a one-shot deal. It is really to continue to help you see those results that you're looking for. Also, they don't charge you for any of the shipping and handling. It has to come on a cold pack, right? So
shipping is
that's
expensive.
yeah,
Yes.
especially when it has to come in a frozen pack.
Yeah.
So you get a 3-month supply, and I do think that you can break that down cost wise. I mean, you could pay monthly. I think that's how they do it. But
Yeah. I've done research on other peptides and it's the same. I mean, when it comes down to buying the peptide and then the not the supplement, the syringes and alcohol swabs, and then you have to do your own mixing half the time because their pharmacies don't do it.
Okay, I don't.
So,
I didn't,
yeah,
that's
no,
what-
you have to make your own compound. That was
Yeah.
a reason why I didn't do it
Yeah.
either, because I was like, oh, maybe I'll ask one of my physician friends and maybe they can do it. But it was just like no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So they do all the compounding for you. They do all the mixing. The ratios are good. They guarantee the ratios are good. And then they send everything in that package: your peptides, your alcohol swabs, your syringes, and a nice little FedEx package.
yeah,
So
100%.
Yeah. I think what happens sometimes is that people are not used to paying a lot out of pocket for things they perceive as like prescriptions, right? And so it's like, oh, I gotta take this medication that my doctor prescribed. Like my insurance would cover most of it. Maybe I've got a copay. And so a lot of in the wellness space, right? And we do see some of the GLPs being covered by insurance, some of them, right? But it's just, there's not an automatic association. Oh, I'm going to make this investment in myself for something related to my health or on the medical side because I've got my insurance for that. But I mean, for somebody who, like, I have not seen a primary care physician in years because I didn't want to go there for them to take my blood pressure, look at my labs and say, yeah, everything's normal, because that's what will happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And so until I started working with this functional medicine practitioner who was through telemedicine, and we actually dissected what was going on with the labs.
Yeah.
That was like my first interaction with a physician in
That's
years.
awesome.
Yeah.
But for me, the approach that I took is like, I don't want this to be like reactive, sit here, oh, something is wrong, like definitely wrong. And now you've got to enter the medical system to correct it. It's like, I'm looking to optimize and I'm willing to pay out of pocket for that.
Yeah.
And so I think if more people look at it from that perspective, it's first order consequences versus second versus third. Short-term effects is, okay, I don't pay out of pocket. I just kind of keep doing what I'm doing, but maybe my health gets worse over the long term as a result, or I don't optimize what I could have. I'm 85. I wish I would have done things earlier, right? The ultimate cost is going to be much higher.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
As opposed to, oh, well, if I can maybe skip going out to dinner one night.
Yeah.
And now I've got the cost of my peptides covered. I'm able to address things, live better, healthier, quality of life for much longer because I'm actually doing things that are going to perpetuate that.
Agreed.
I think that's a better way to look at it.
I also saw, when you talk about going out, there was a video that came out and Deb mentioned that, when you're on your GLPs and you talk about cost, that you're going out, before you spent $50 a person to go out, but now you're going to spend maybe $30 for both of you because, one, you're not buying alcohol because you don't crave that alcohol, you don't want that drink. Two, you're only going to be happy meal. So if you're with somebody, you share that meal with somebody else. So you're really cutting down costs everywhere in order to, I feel like, live better for myself.
Yeah, agreed.
And I recognize that there are strict budgets. Not everyone has the flexibility to say, I can just throw like $1,000 at this, or I'm not saying it's $1,000, whatever the cost may be. But I think we prioritize what's important.
Yeah.
And if we get the big decisions correctly, particularly around like finances and stuff, we can find some oftentimes.
And we're talking about our
some ways.
health here.
Yeah.
Our health, right? And I think that,
important.
if you move away from just your mundane day to day, I go to my primary care physician and, whatever that looks like. But what if you wanted to move into ultimate, a higher level of just feeling good, being your best, longevity, these are the things that I think about, and they really matter.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I'm kind of torn in my perspective on this because I see a lot of this happening now. You see a lot more telemedicine, you see more functional medicine, people and physicians trying to address like root cause, trying to help people feel better and optimize their health as opposed to come in when you're sick. And so I think this is on a positive trend to becoming more mainstream,
Yeah,
where more people
I would
do
agree with
like invest in their health and do that. But if we follow the money of healthcare, there's just not as much money in preventative wellness.
Yes.
And so there, for the foreseeable future, will continue to be the sick care model because that's where the money is,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And
Yeah.
so it's nice, it's good to see this positive upward
Right.
trend.
But I also think that, TJ, it's an opportunity to people to have some ownership in their own life,
Yeah.
right? To step into a better way of living for yourself, right? Don't buy into the sick care. Choose to have longevity. Choose to want a better life for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The time that you're going to the doctors to go get medicine to prevent something else, or constantly on another medication for high blood pressure or whatever, diabetes, whatever it is, add that time up, that cost of your co-payments, that cost of everything throughout time, it's going to cover the cost of what you're spending on a bundle that will help you in the long term. That's how, that's why I see it. I prefer not to go to the doctor. I don't go. I'm like, TJ, we don't go. We don't go.
Dude, unless I'm like on my deathbed.
Yeah, exactly.
You have
Unless
to drag me there.
if something tragic happens, you'll see me at the hospital for myself, or else I'm seeing a patient to help them. But you're not going to see me at a doctor. You're not, I do my primary care because just in case something happens, I go there. But even if I ask for labs, it's like, oh, you don't need that. And I'm like, but this is what I want. But no, we're not going to do it. So even if I wanted something, I'm not going to get what I want anyways from my primary care physician, because they go by the book and that's their job, right? They go to my book, they go what you need, what they hear from you, but it's like, oh, I can't add anything extra. So what's the point?
That's why I paid out of pocket for the labs. Like, I don't care. Dude, I want to know. Yeah. So I don't know that that's a common approach. People are like, oh yeah, I'll just pay for my labs and I'll get them done. But you said something that is so important, which is, I believe we all need to take more agency over our own health. We cannot put that responsibility in our doctor's hands that have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if that, in a session. So go through our chart, look at whatever and say, oh yeah, everything seems good. Come see me in a year. And they're doing, because they're just not getting reimbursed enough from insurance. To be able to care.
What happens if you took that out of their hands and you took it on yourself and you just said, I care enough about me, right? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to invest in myself. I want to live a healthier, longer life. I've got a spouse. I've got children. I've got grandchildren. I want to leave a legacy. I mean, what about that? What about just taking control? And now we actually have an opportunity to step into these things that are at our feet now, and all it takes is a little bit of time to research them and find out how's it best going to serve me and my longevity. So that's the way I think of it.
That's why I think we started having, or I wanted to have this conversation, and even some of the resources that I've created, like the school community and those sort of things. So I'm going to post this in the school community. So I think it's perfect for it. But all that time we spent, all of us, researching and going through the little bit of fear or hesitation, because I know I experienced that too. I'm like, I want to do it, a little bit nervous, but I ended up doing it anyway. But it took a while. Like, so from like here to here, maybe that was like 8 or 9 months. What I'd like to do is to have these discussions, bring the information or the education to the people that are interested. So maybe we can shorten that time frame a little bit. They're still going to have their hesitation. They're still going to need to do their own research. I would always recommend that. They still might want to have that conversation with their physician who's going to tell them, oh, don't do it. But
that's 100% true, right? Because they're not they're not educated in this typically either, unless you're a functional medicine, in functional medicine. But that's why it's important to slow down, take ownership, right? And do your own research.
Absolutely.
Right. But then if we can collapse that time a little bit so somebody can start experimenting for themselves in a safe way. I'm not saying go and order everything off of the website and start. No, strategically thinking, okay, here's my rationale for wanting to do. Here's research that I've done. And then maybe if you're not getting the answers that you want from your physician, talk to a functional medicine practitioner. Talk to somebody that is certified in peptides.
Right.
Say, is this right for me?
Yeah.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It's not always the answer. Right? It's not like some magic cure. What else do I need to do? And this way, maybe we can help more people, feel comfortable enough to try something, because it's not like they're just like me, right? Or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So I know I don't know, our time is our time. There's no hard cap on this, but what I'm curious about, we're sitting here, it's December 31st. We're going into the new year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you what your goals are, because I didn't want to have that conversation. I heard this question on a podcast yesterday, and I thought it was so good, is think back to, like, if you were to say now, give yourself 12 months ago, so you think back a year.
Okay.
Give yourself advice for the upcoming year. What is the advice that you would give yourself going into the year that just happened? I would take a second to think about it, because that's like a really loaded
but
question.
you've had a minute to think about it.
I haven't, though.
Oh, you just heard it. And
I heard it. I'm like, oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, I think that for me, I can answer that pretty quickly. For me, I think that what I learned and what I would say to myself is just because I go 90 to nothing all the time. Like, and I have so many opportunities that are presented, and I love people, and I love to go, and I just love to be in the mix of whatever. But for me, the faith aspect is really important too. But I think that for me, I've learned to just be a little bit more still, to slow it down. Like, everything doesn't have to happen right now, just to just wait a minute, watch and see how things kind of pan out, but really just kind of slowing it down and being still.
That's a good one.
And I do have it. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that. And so for me, I actually had a little bit of time to think about this, and I actually talked to my coach about it yesterday too. So in all fairness, one would be lean into your faith. Like, I'm talking to myself, lean into your faith. Don't resist it, because I did. Thinking back last year, like, just lean into it, because it opened up so many positive things for me, with so many doors. So lean into my faith. And number two is, when things get challenging, because there is inevitably the ups and downs. Like, there were definitely some really high highs this past year. Really good things have happened. When things get challenging, don't do what you've always done, which is to isolate, to retreat, and to push people away. Lean into your relationships. To the people that are supporting you, coaches, family, and allow them to hold you accountable. Because in the past, one of my patterns that I've noticed about myself is that when things get tough, that is exactly what I do. I retreat to myself. I want to say hide, but like I isolate. And it leads to, like, the low being much lower than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And so that would be the advice to myself going into
that's so good.
on top of leaning into, I think.
Really good.
That's so good.
That's good. I mean, I'm like you. When things get hard, I pull back. I'm like, nope, don't talk to me. Shut down. Everything just goes. So that's actually really good. I need to think about that myself. I would say take chances, because I don't take a lot of chances. I took a chance with Shari this year. And I waited to take that chance, even though you were constantly talking to me about it. So I think it would be more take chances. So don't be scared to take a chance.
Yeah.
Because I do have faith, and I believe that it's going to work out, and there's purpose taking that chance and to get to something better.
Yeah.
So-
Agreed. That's good.
So I would
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah, that's so good.
You know, the funny thing about this question
What?
is it's the exact advice you need to give yourself right now,
I know,
typically,
yeah.
because the big things are the big things,
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't really change
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so today we're looking back and saying, this is what I'd say to myself last year, but it's also probably what we need to hear right
But
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So good.
That's good. That's really good.
That's awesome.
I think that's a great place to end.
I think you're right.
We're going to have to do this
So
again.
good. Yeah.
sure.
Definitely.
All right. I'm gonna turn it off.
All right. Come back and see where we're at in 6 months.